Welcome back. My name is Nicole. My pronouns are she, her, and they, them. And again, I'm the community liaison for Mental Health Partners. I'm really excited to continue our self-care series. And last time we talked about the definition of self-care, really understanding that we're looking at the behaviors and habits and rhythms that support your life. Today, we're going to talk about what kind of categories these might fall into. So I'm going to offer you 6 types of self-care that can really help you organize the things you're already doing well, and then maybe some things that you want to bolster in your life, places that you may need a little more extra oomph. So yeah, let's jump into this. We're going to have 6 different types of self-care. I'm going to walk you through them as a kind of base for the rest of the series so that you can think about places that you might want to add to your life and things that you already do well. The things that you already do well are super key to me because we often don't give ourselves enough credit for the things that we do that support us. So if you see things that you're already doing, take a minute, give yourself a little celebration. We often don't do that enough as we run from one thing to the next. Our plate's real full. We don't add celebration on top. I'm inviting you to do that with me today because you deserve it. You're doing the hard work. So this 6-part model is from Planned Parenthood. It gives us a great overview of the different types. The first one I'm going to talk about today is emotional self-care. Emotional self-care are activities that allow you to connect, process, and reflect on the full range of emotions. This can be anything from seeing and talking to a therapist, writing in a journal, art, really anything that helps you be in tune with that emotional side of yourself. Again, these aren't all going to seem flashy. Seeing a therapist might just be kind of part of your regular routine. But they do so much for us. The second one I want to offer is practical self-care. So these are tasks that you complete in order to take care of what I like to call my future self. Often I will do something like refilling my vitamin container and be like, this is for future Nicole. And I like that sense of supporting myself on many levels. So again, this could be something like creating a budget, talking to someone to get help on fixing something in your house. It could be organizing your closet. That's definitely something I need to work on. So put that in my want to work on column. So these things that really just help you have a smooth, flourishing sense of self in your space and in your in the things that you got to take care of, bills, those day-to-day routine things. The third one I'm going to offer is physical self-care. This might be one that we think of a lot when people throw out, oh, it's yoga, it's taking a bubble bath. Those both kind of invoke the body. And so these could fall into the physical self-care activities that you do to improve the well-being of your physical health. So they offer taking a walk during lunch, sleeping 8 hours a night, staying hydrated, especially one relevant for people like us that are located in Colorado. You might be somewhere more humid, but I bet hydration's still important. So really focusing on these things. I know that sleeping 8 hours a night is something that I do well. So that would go in my celebration column. I'm very intentional, I should say, about protecting my sleep schedule. And so that is something that I do well for my self-care. So these are the first 3. The second 3 are going to be mental, social, and spiritual self-care. The mental, for the 4th category, could seem like it has a lot of overlap with emotional. And I should take a moment to say, one behavior could easily fit into multiple categories. For you, for other people, it might be just filling different parts of your cup. So the mental self-care are things that really kind of stimulate the mind and your intellect. So emotional self-care, things about being in touch with your emotions, really connecting with those feelings, processing, where mental self-care is going to be something that really that you can like chew on, something that gets you interested. So they offer reading a book, solving a puzzle, chess, going to the museum. One of my best friends is learning Mandarin, just something that gets you into that place of really feeling engaged with your brain. For me, especially during COVID, it's been fantasy books. I love that whole other world that comes from really getting into a good book. So that kind of mental engagement and stimulation, that's what we're talking about when we talk about mental self-care. The social self-care, these are activities that nurture and deepen those relationships in your life. Humans are social creatures. We often thrive off this, but not all connections are made equal. So their examples are brunch with friends, going on a date, making time to call your mom. And I usually like to pop in here and say that calling my mom is not something I do for self-care. I really love her and I'm glad to deepen that connection. But that is something that I do in a different sense. The things that fill my cup are much more along the lines of calling someone from my fellowship, talking with a friend, going on a walk with a friend and catching up. So these things can really be what you want them to be. There is no right or wrong when it comes to self-care. Again, self-care is not socks. It is not one size fits all. So as I'm talking about these things, you can kind of go through and think, yes, that one's good for me. That one's good for me. Not so much. Good, good. Yes, no. It's yours. And that's fantastic. So the last one I'm going to talk about is spiritual self-care. These are activities that nurture the spirit and allow you to kind of maybe get out of your own head and expand into the worldview a little bit more. It doesn't have to be religious. It can be. That's, again, up to you. These are going to be meditation, yoga, going to a place of worship, being in nature. Again, doesn't have to be religious. It can. And maybe dedicating some time for self-reflection. Again, things that both connect you to yourself, but don't maybe have that same emotional emphasis, but really that sense of expansiveness. For me, these are, I do the meditation, I'm connected with fellowship, those places that really kind of overlaps the social and the spiritual. So really seeing that what you're doing for yourself may fit in multiple categories at once. These are the 6 types of self-care that we're going to kind of work with through this mini series. So keep them in mind. Again, as you're going through your day-to-day, you might realize like, oh, I'm already doing this bit of emotional self-care. Or, oh, hey, I get a check mark for this one because that's practical self-care. So just start like giving yourself some credit. And if you did notice as I was going through, you're like, whew, there's this one category that I just don't got anything in. Maybe spend some time thinking about like, what could I do that sounds like a good fit for me that would put something in that category? Because we want to have a well-rounded, balanced self-care plan. Next time, I'm actually going to give you a little 5-part sequence on how to pick an activity that you want to add and how to actually design it to fit into your life. So join us next time. I'm really looking forward to the next video. And of course, you can always find more of our content. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. If you have questions, definitely drop those in the chat. At the end of the month, I'll do a Facebook Live and I'll answer those questions, do some more of the engaged ideas about how to bring these into your life. Thank you so much.